Welcome to the channel. My name is Kubeir. I'm a CICC licensed immigration consultant, and we do this every single week. We bring you with a weekly roundup as to what's happened. And the most recent one is that I mean, sometimes when I see these things, when I hear of these things, I just don't know how to articulate it well without sounding condescending, without being offensive in any manner. But the news is Mark Miller finally made his statement, or basically in his press conference, he came out, which he had cancelled last weekend, but he managed to keep it this time. And he came out and said that since construction workers in Canada were such a critical occupation, of course, right? Because the government has gotten beaten up really badly because of the housing crisis. So earlier they said it was because of immigration. Then they said we don't have enough houses. Then we said we have too many international students. Then we said we have all kinds of things going wrong. We have some sort of aliens who are coming in and taking away the houses before they're even built. All of those things. Eventually they said, okay, we don't have enough construction workers. Apparently we are short by 65,000 construction workers. And that's the reason apparently that they're not being making houses. All that being said, Mark Miller then identified that why don't we give a permanent residence pathway to 6,000 illegal workers who are in construction industry in Canada? Well, there is already a similar pathway in Ontario, right? So they said, why don't we make it federal? Why don't we encourage more people to become illegals so that then we can give them the pathway to become a permanent resident? Voila, great idea, right? I mean, all those people who have come to Canada, who have studied in Canada, who have worked in Canada, who are working diligently in Canada, who are trying to qualify with the French proficiency points, maximizing their English language scores, doing two jobs, one just to fit into a category occupation. All that can, go to take a hike in the green buck, but let's give a pathway of immigration, a permanent residence pathway to the illegal workers who are in construction, because hey, if we will ask these people to go, then we are losing out on critical resource which we should hold back, because we have shortage of 65,000 people. So instead of training new people, instead of encouraging new people to join into the trades, let's just give a pathway to the illegal individuals. And I keep saying illegal, okay, or the other word which is more polite is undocumented individuals, so that they can stay back in Canada and continue working. Brilliant. That's all I can say. Brilliant. Because what else is there, right? I mean, after a point of time, we will say we don't have too many cooks, so let's give all the illegal cooks in Canada a pathway. We don't have enough IT workers. Let's give all the illegal IT workers a pathway. Would we even think of that, right? Would we even say that? Section 41. So let's talk about some legalities here. Section 41/1 is the legal basis for which you can become inadmissible to Canada, under which you become inadmissible to Canada if you are in non-compliance of the immigration laws. Immigration Refugee Protection Act, Immigration Refugee Protection Regulations. If you are in non-compliance, you are inadmissible. Means there could be a removal action against you. You could be asked to leave Canada. You could have a exclusion or deportation order. You could have a 1-year entry ban if you are caught being non-compliant. Now, what is non-compliant, or what is IRPA? IRPA is the Immigration Refugee Protection Act, which is basically the law which governs all kinds of temporary permanent residence processes, all kind of immigration aspects in Canada. If you're a non-compliant, so every single immigration status in Canada is governed by the law. For example, if you come to Canada as a visitor, you must leave back to your country, or leave back from Canada, return back from Canada within the authorized period of your stay. You cannot overstay. If you overstay, you're a non-compliance. If you're a student, okay, but you choose to work more than 24 hours per week, as much as you're allowed, then you are in non-compliance, because the immigration law allows you to only work for 24 hours per week as an international student. If you are a worker in Canada and if you're a closed work permit holder, let's do this one. If you're a closed work permit holder, but you choose to work for other employers as well, you are in non-compliance, because a closed work permit means you can only work for your employer with who is mentioned in your work permit. If you are an open work permit holder, your work permit expires, you don't do anything about it, you continue to stay in Canada, you are now in non-compliance of Immigration Refugee Protection Act. All these sections of the law that are governed. Now, if you go into non-compliance, you are inadmissible under Section 41. Therefore, there should be a removal action against you, right? You should be removed from Canada. You should be deported from Canada. You should not be allowed to come back to Canada again, because, hey, Canada gave you a chance. You decided to go into non-compliance. You decided to disrespect it, and you shouldn't get another chance. But no, Canada doesn't want to do that. Canada wants to pat you on the back and say, hey, good job. You decided to overstay. Good job. You decided to do everything that you're not supposed to. Good job that you're in non-compliance. You know what? Let me give you a reward. Let me offer you a pathway for permanent residence. Okay. When I say all these things, it sounds all crude and rude and impolite for a lot of people who might actually be one of those 6,000 individuals. Yes, there could be some exceptional circumstances in some cases, but there is no way you can convince me that there are approximately 500,000 to 1 million. Actually, the number is very conservative, could be more. You cannot convince me that there are more than 1 million people, undocumented illegals in Canada, and that they all have exceptional circumstances because of which they can't go back. You will not be able to convince me on that one. So therefore, when you create pathways like this, you are only sending out messages. You're only sending out message to everybody else that, you know what, if you become illegal, it's not a big deal. At some point of time in future, we will give you amnesty. We will offer you a pathway, and then we will give you this golden ticket anyways. Right, wrong, bad, good. I don't know how to go about it. So just because we have a housing shortage in Canada, should this be a path that should be adopted? So in order to find a solution to one problem, you go ahead and create much bigger problem, which will also then further complicate the matters and make several more problems, because you couldn't find solution to one problem which was more working. I don't even know if I'm saying this correctly or not, but yeah, to me, at least, this doesn't make sense. So when we talk about ethics, when we talk about doing things within the law, when we talk about doing things honestly, when we talk about all those things, but at the same point of time, you reward individuals who chose to not respect the laws of your country, I'm not sure how that fits into the balance of things. At least I don't see it happening. I do not know. Different people might have different opinion on that. Why don't you sort of send some comments my way, and let me read those to see if your opinion differs in mine, or if you can make better sense out of this whole situation. I can't. Given the circumstances, given the situation, given what is happening in Canada right now, we have more than 4 million people in Canada, temporary residents. What is the message you are sending out to those people? What are you telling them? That this is what we are going to do for you sometime later in future if you choose to do it. Welcome everybody. This is a weekly roundup. We talk about what is happening within the field of Canadian immigration within the week, starting with our weekly roundup. Of course, we will do your we will talk about the PNPs, the express entries, and of course then we will take your questions. So please hold your questions till we get to that stage. Starting with the express entry, everybody's favorite. 725 invitations were issued in the latest provincial nominee program express entry draw, which happened on the 3rd of March. Everybody loved it because whenever there is a draw on Monday, everybody is expecting, okay, there will be something happening soon. There will be a CEC draw. There will be a category draw. And you know what? Category draw did happen. But this one foxed everybody because this was pretty much a back-to-back this was pretty much a back-to-back French draw. I haven't seen this happening, back-to-back French. Oh, maybe there was one, I think. Can't remember. Right? There's so many express entry draws that happen all the time. Can't remember, but this one really, really, caught I was off guard. I'm sure a lot of you out there also were off, but not because I have anything against the French speakers draw, though there is a debate to be had there in the whole idea of the French speakers draw. Yes, French is the official language of Canada. Bravo. Yes, we need to encourage francophone immigration outside Quebec. But when we keep saying outside Quebec, are we trying to just appease a certain segment of the country's demographic? And is there a political agenda more than anything else? But again, this is not that platform to discuss those kind of things. Francophone draw happened. That is what we want to be interested about. And in this Francophone draw, they invited 4,500 candidates, right? 4,500 ITAs were sent out. Score dropped right down to 410. Because 2 weeks back, also they conducted a Francophone draw, 6,500 invitations issued, score of 428. So 2 weeks later, now 4,500 invitations issued again, 410. Well done. So everybody who is studying masters in Canada, trying to get that work experience in the bag, maximizing the English language scores because they're anglophones, and hey, English is also another language in Canada, right? Official language. But 410, and that's how you express entry was as you can figure out, right? I'm in a rantful mood today, right? So too many rants coming out. Bear with me. Express entry, when it was designed as a system, was meant to award points for certain merit in the factors of age, language, education, work experience. These were supposed to be awarded so that IRCC could then pick creme de la creme of the total pool, right? So they would take the pool, skim it, and then take the top ranking profiles. But with this, what are we trying to do? I'm not sure. 410, respectively, pretty low score. Now, I'm not going to go to the debate of, do these individuals have the qualifications? Do these individuals have, probably most of them are just slightly higher up on the age ladder, right? Maybe 34, 35 of the age. They might still have bachelor's degree, master's degree. They might not have the Canadian experience points, and that's where they're lacking. But yeah, 410 and above could still qualify, and that's not a problem. So again, nothing against francophones or French speakers. It's just that the whole program, because francophones by itself are already getting 62 extra points. So that should by itself be the balancing act, right? You're already awarding individuals for that second language. And then you again, after awarding those 62 extra points, you are also then creating a separate category and then inviting only those people within that category back to back. You're obviously going to ruffle some feathers out there. That's the only beef that I have here. But the draw happened. A lot of people expecting CAC didn't happen because they've been waiting anxiously. They've been and see, this is how it backfires, right? People whose work permits are expiring, waiting anxiously, they are going out of status. They don't get invitation. But people outside Canada, nothing to do with Canada, low scoring individuals, after getting the extra 62 points in French, they get the advantage. Yeah. Okay, moving on. Express entry pool, this is how it looks like. Oh, sorry, this is how it, where did we go? Yeah. This is how it looks like. 501 to 600, 23,000 people in the pool at this point of time. 601 to 1,200, 807, that number is already cleared and gone because of the draw that happened earlier. So 23,075. And this pool breakdown is as of 3rd of March. So we are already a week later now. This 23,000 is probably gone up by 1,000 approximately. So you're looking at an approximate number of 24,000 All those people who have bought an LMIA, you guys must be really getting everything stuck in your throat right now. Yeah, thinking that when will the LMIA points be removed and will you be able to get through or not, because you may have invested a lot of money in there. Oh, tricky, right? March 20th is when officially we are into spring as far as Canada is concerned. We will continue to be in the season of spring until the 19th or 20th of June. 21st of June is when officially the summer starts, right? So you have these 3-4 long months. Is it what? March, April, May, June? Yeah. So these 3, not 4, 3 months, 3 long months of spring. It's going to put everybody on tenterhooks. There are people out there who are already assuming that the points for job offer have been removed. Oh, they haven't been removed. Hold on. Job offer points are still there. LMI points are still there. Nothing has changed as of today. I do expect Mark Miller to, with a lot of fanfare, come out and make this announcement, because he would want to get some brownie points here, I guess, because that flag bearer of having removed the fraud, that is something, I guess, which needs to be announced and blown on top of their voices. But I think it's going to be a bit of time before that happens. And yes, the draws should continue, because a lot of you are already asking the same question. Will the CEC draws continue? Yes. Why won't the CEC draws continue? There are 82,000 slots in the immigration levels plan. But what's going to happen right now is the category draws. That is what I would like to talk about. The category draws seem a bit tricky. Now, in a span of less than 3 months, or actually not less than, about 3 months, less than 3 months, of course, can't be 3 months, right? In a span of less than 3 months, IRCC has issued roughly 22,000 invitations. I don't have the exact number, so total 22,000 invitations have been issued, of which 50% are towards the Francophones. Make this make sense, right? So 50% have gone towards the Francophone category. The other 50% are towards the PNPs and your CECs, etc. Now, if you have already issued 11,000 ITAs, and mind you, these are ITAs, these are not people. So each ITA could be multiple people, could be spouses, children, etc. Right? So those could all be multiple people. This will count towards the categories. Now, also you have to understand, Francophones may not only be in categories. They could the target of Francophones can also be achieved through the regular express entry draws, through the CEC draws, through the other economic pathways. That is also a possibility. The Francophone target that they have doesn't have to be achieved only through the category draws. So category draws is just one aspect where they boost that number in order to make sure that they get that. So please don't fall into that trap of thinking all these 11,000 ITAs will come out only from categories. Now, 11,000 ITAs, of course, do come out of the category, which basically means that the number of slots available for the other 5 categories, in which you have agri and food, trades, healthcare, education. Which one did I miss out? STEM, of course. How can we forget STEM? So these 5 categories still need to be taken into consideration, and these 5 categories will also have, will also have to be given a slot. I don't know when the category draws will happen, but given the circumstances, given how this whole game is being played out, don't expect scores to be low. Add to that the fact you have cooks part of the trade category. How in the world is the score for trade category going to go down? No way in the world do I see, because almost anybody who works for any kind of fast food franchise or any kind of restaurant in any kind of position is somehow now become a cook. That's how it's been. So whether you were a supervisor, you were a manager, you were a cleaner, you were a food counter attendant, you were a server, you were a busser, it does not matter. From last I checked, everybody is now a cook. So if everybody is a cook and everybody is eligible in a trade category draw, and trade category draw probably will have a very small percentage, can't be a very big percentage. And what do you expect? The scores, what do you think the scores are going to look like? So what this has done is by assigning cooks into the trades category, they have completely ruined the trades category, because, no offense to cooks, they've ruined the trades category because actually the trades that are needed, which was a good idea to start with, those trades basically might not even have a chance unless their scores are going to be high. So expect high scores in trade, expect high scores. The only category where you might not have high scores, I think, is probably going to be STEM. From the STEM, they've already removed the IT tech knock code. So IT tech knock codes form a bulk of those individuals who also have job offer points, right? So they could be here on intra-company transfers, C20 reciprocals, or any other work permit, and they were all claiming 50 points, 200 points. Those individuals now not being part of the STEM category means the STEM category pretty much has thinned out except for the cybersecurity individuals, right? So those dudes are there. Apart from that, mainly engineers, not too many engineers, licensed engineers on temporary residence visas in Canada, which basically means there will be a majority of them from outside Canada. Again, make this make sense. How do they fulfill shortage of workers in Canada because they can't practice in Canada? Anyways, no ranting anymore. So the scores for STEM, I anticipate to be pretty decently, average and low. Certainly not 480s, 490s, because majority of them are going to be outside Canada. They can't score 480, 490. So the cybersecurity dudes, you guys have got it really, really good, because even the low scoring ones will be able to get through with STEM. Education, can't say at this point of time, though I don't anticipate the scores to be low there as well. Lots of teachers, lots of early childhood educators in Canada who can take part in that. Early childhood educator assistants also in Canada who can take part in that. So that will also stay reasonably 450 plus ish, 450, 460 plus ish. Trades, don't even get me started. As far as agri-food, there's only one category of butchers. Now, depending on how many invitations, I don't expect them to issue more than 100, 150 invitations in that category. So I expect the scores to be very low 400s or even high 300s. That's where that category goes. What did I leave out? STEM. Healthcare. Now, healthcare is very interesting. Healthcare, again, pharmacy technicians has been the favorite of all the individuals out there who identified that if they find a job in their relatives' pharmacy, what am I saying? No ranting, right? So yeah, people have been able to gainfully be employed as a pharmacy assistant, pharmacy technician, and have been able to get themselves qualified there. Other than that, healthcare is not looking very easy for most people who are trying to rush into that work experience. Nurse aides, yes, assistant nurses, all those people who have done the personal support worker courses all this time and then gained the 6-month work experience, you guys can have a bit of a benefit there. So healthcare, I don't anticipate the scores to be high or low. They're going to be pretty much in the range of 460, 470. At least that's what I'm thinking, unless lots and lots of nurse aides, unless lots and lots of pharmacy assistants have really got into the pool, I can't say. Yes, I forgot about the insurance agents who are now part of the STEM category. Insurance agents also, now that's a tricky one, and actually I missed that. So therefore, STEM category might also not be that low, because insurance agents outside Canada, they are eligible, of course, and they can also participate. But again, they can't score more than 470, 480 in most cases. So that score stays there, 470, 480. And insurance agents in Canada, not a lot of them out there who are on work permits, or who have gained that work experience while being employed in Canada. So I don't expect that insurance agents to make a lot of difference within the STEM category. Of course, the fact that insurance agents, some engineers, and cybersecurity dudes, these are the guys who are going to get the benefit of Canadian education, Canadian work experience points. Other than that, largely other engineers that are out there will probably be ones from outside Canada. So collectively, even STEM, I would say more in the range of 450, 460. That looks more reasonable, and probably that's the way it will go. So these are my guesstimates, speculations, if you want to call it, as far as the draws in categories is concerned. Well, there was a PNP draw, of course. This was Manitoba. People who have already got it already know about it. In PNP updates, New Brunswick has opened its intake for the PNP pathways for the express entry. They're accepting the expressions of interest for the express entry streams. They basically have two streams: employment in New Brunswick and New Brunswick express entry, New Brunswick interest. These are both express entry PNPs, and just so that you know, it's not going to be easy there either, because they only have 2,750 slots for PNPs, of which 1,250 is under AIB. So the actual PNP slots that they have is only 1,500. And of them, these knock codes that you have, accounting technicians, administrative assistants, retail and wholesale trade managers, food services managers, supervisors, retail supervisor, cooks and bakers, they are not going to be included as far as New Brunswick is concerned in their expressions of interest. So it tells you that they are seeing these occupations as not high priority, but federal government sees cooks as high priority, so has been including them. Interesting. Okay, keep moving. Other news we have, Canada to grant legal status for thousands of undocumented construction workers. I don't want to get started on this one again. But for a minute, let's talk. Under the 2025-2027 immigration levels plan for this year, we have about 10,000 slots under the humanitarian and compassionate program. Now, under the HNC immigration pathways, if you have 10,000 slots, there are already 70,000 applications, 70,000 as of October 2024. So, and next year, the slots are reduced to 6,900 and then to 4,300. So when in the world are they ever going to fit these people, 6,000 people, and then those people will become PR? Until then, I guess they will be given a work permit, right? Because Mark Miller said that they have to find a pathway. So yeah. Anyway, so this is how it's looking like. Parents and grandparents lottery for 2025 is still alive. Apparently, earlier in the year, January, they had announced that they will not be issuing any invitations for the parents, grandparents, but apparently not. They have now come back and said that they will be issuing 10,000. They will be accepting 10,000 complete applications in 2025, but only from those people who had completed their expression of interest in 2020, 5 years back. Ridiculous, I would say, but then that, I guess, is the tagline for the current. Everything that they do is becoming questionable in the way of modality, in the way of, does it even make sense as to what the hell are you trying to do? But then I keep asking these questions in front of my mirror every day as well. So anyways, so if you had created your expression of interest in 2020, well, you guys are really lucky, because you will be given another chance yet again. This will be the 5th chance you will get. And hopefully this time, 5th time lucky, you will be able to invite your parents and grandparents and hopefully be eligible by now. And therefore, yeah, 10,000 complete applications will be accepted. Well, that's what I have for you guys. Connect with us on social media platform. You're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, almost every year. And if you haven't still given us a follow, then I don't know what exactly are you thinking. If you still haven't subscribed to the channel, which by now you should have. Again, I don't know what you're thinking. Also, very quick one. In case you missed that point, I am a CICC licensed immigration consultant. I run a very decent team of 15, 16 people, 16 right now. People, we are based in North York. We are a full service immigration company. So if you are looking to hire a representative for your immigration application, then do think of us. We are pretty decent, I would say. At least that's what I would like to think. We have a team of 7 licensed immigration consultants with us on board. And then we have expertise in detention hearings, refugee claims, asylum claims, humanitarian and compassionate applications. Of course, those are the ones. And then the whole gamut of economic applications and temporary visits applications as well. So if you are looking to hire a representative, that's the one you're looking for. Ask Kubeir Immigration, right? Okay, moving on. If you're still here, hit on that like button so this video goes out to other people. If you're still here, give us a follow. Subscribe to the videos, subscribe to the channel so the numbers keep growing and we have a bigger community who all have access to more credible, real life, real time, genuine information. A couple of things. We're going to talk about the home care pilot in a bit. But before that, there is this ongoing news, and I have made a very detailed video, I think it'll get uploaded tomorrow morning, about can you study in Canada while you have a work permit? Now, it has been a bit of a contentious debate between some individuals, representatives, RCICs on Twitter, etc. I can tell you this today, that if you are in Canada on a work permit, or if you are in Canada as a visitor, or if you're in Canada on any legal, valid, temporary residence status, then within your initial entry, or in a case of worker as a holder of work permit, you can study 6 months or less duration of courses without needing a study permit. It has been established. We have debated on this like until the cows come home, but I can assure you that you can. There is not a it's not a problem. IRCC through various communications have clarified that you don't have to go in and out of the country if you are a work permit holder. While being a work permit holder, you can study. So if you're a postgraduate work permit holder, you're a closed work permit holder, and you choose to study a 6 months program, 6 months or less, not more than 6 months, single duration, one single program of 6 months. So it can't be that you're doing two courses of the same program, 6 months and 6 months, and you combine that and say, I don't need a study permit. That is wrong. If the program or any part of the program is going to take longer than 6 months, then you need a study permit for sure. Anything less than 6 months, you will not need a study permit. That's one. I know you will not be in non-compliance of PERPA Section 41, and no, there will be no removal order against you, so please don't worry about that. Okay, so that is one thing out of the way. Home care pilots. Now, home care worker pilots, a lot of you have been asking this question about home care pilots. Let me quickly pull this up, because in this case, a lot of people are still confused as to who would be eligible and who would not be eligible. Now, I'm not sure why the confusion is there, but apparently it's there. So let's take this very quickly. In the home care pilots, IRCC has been very clear, and they have no, this one. Sorry. For some reason, it chooses not to come. Yes. So home care pilots, they have said very, very clearly that there will be two streams. One will be workers inside Canada. Mind you, it says workers in Canada. It doesn't say students in Canada. It doesn't say visitors in Canada. It says workers in Canada. So these are the two streams. There will be two streams, workers in Canada and applicants not working in Canada. So first of all, please be aware, IRCC has not issued too many details. They have not provided us with enough information about this. So therefore, we are relying on very limited information that is available. So at this point of time, please be aware that from the information available, two streams. Workers in Canada, so you can't be a visitor, you can't be a student. At least that's what it implies. Second is that you will get permanent residence once you're approved. Okay. Second is that you should have CLB level 4 minimum language scores, and you should have Canadian high school diploma equivalent. Third is that you don't need relevant work experience in Canada. You could have that relevant work experience outside Canada, but you must have at least 6 months of recent relevant work experience. And if you don't have the work experience, then you must have a credential, an education credential, which is related, which is relevant to the job that you are doing, to the caregiving job, and it should be of at least 6 months in duration. This is what has been indicated. Now, when we say recent and relevant, now recent hasn't been mentioned as to how recent. Is it within the last 2 years? Is it within the last 3 years? I don't know at this point of time. It just says recent. Now, with relevant, it basically means if you're going to get a job of taking care of a child, then you should have work experience or the credential education, which is related to caregiving to a child. Okay. If you are going to get a job offer to take care of an elderly or of a person who is handicapped or a person who is physically challenged or who needs care on a consistent basis, then your experience, your recent relevant experience or your credential, education credential should be relevant to giving care to the elderly, to the sick people. So that is the recent relevant work experience. And most importantly is you need job offer. Now, home workers, this is for home care pilot. This is not for residential care. This is not for long-term retirement homes. This is for home care workers. So basically, you can get job offers from private households or a private family. You can get job offers from them. or you can get job offers from organizations that hire full-time workers to provide short-term or occasional home care. This is very, very important. So job offers from retirement homes may not be accepted, right? Job offers from long-term care may not be accepted. Job offers from medical institutions may not be accepted because they can all give an LMI and you can get a pathway through that. This is primarily for home care. This is primarily from agencies that can hire you. But when you are hired, then they will assign you to jobs for short-term care or for short-term assignments. But for you to be able to go to somebody's house to provide home care services, and that is what the job offer has to be. This is the primary information with regards to home care workers pilot. It will start on 31st of March. We are accepting applications from individuals who have the respective documentation and job offers. Please bear in mind that this is going to be first come, first serve, which basically means people who are able to submit their applications on 31st of March, fastest fingers first, and know what you're doing, they will be able to get through. Everybody else who can't do it will not be able to get through. Why? Because they only have very small number of quotas for this application type. It's not like it's an unlimited, open-ended kind of a stream. So please make sure you keep all your documentation ready and be ready to submit when the stream opens on the 31st of March. I can assure you this will get closed like this probably in less than an hour. So that's what you need to know about as far as home care pilot is concerned. Canada PR is not a piece of cake, but you need to get your hands dirty. I don't know about what do you mean by get your hands dirty. You don't need to get your hands dirty. You just need to get the relevant work experience qualification to get through this. That's basically what I have for you guys. Very quickly, we will talk about all the different questions that we have. Okay, very, very good comment here. This is why are they rewarding illegals? How about legals working in the construction sector? Bravo, great point that you brought out. Actually, I missed on this one. Isn't that true that they are actually rewarding people who are illegal in Canada, and they're saying we will give you a pathway in construction, but there is no pathway for construction industry as such on a federal level. There is nothing. Heck, you know what? You don't even have a construction category in express entry, and here you are rewarding illegals to find a pathway. Never makes sense with something like this. Somebody said, we bought money here and planning to buy a house, but no clear pathway for us. But hey, if you are forcing me to speak French with my clients who don't even speak English, then you might have a chance. But that's basically how it's looking like. Okay, another one. I got my PR. Your videos have been very helpful. One concern, I'm unable to see your FB page. I'm sure I haven't violated any guideline. I do not know what has gone wrong there. Amar, can't help you with that one on this platform. But congratulations, you have your COPR. That's excellent. It says Miller will be gone by Sunday. I guess I don't think Miller is going anywhere by Sunday. At this point of time, he's still here. Yeah, for the time being, he's still here. So let's see where that goes in the time to come. Well, let's start with the questions. Anand says, in my PR application, I put 2 internships in personal history, but they are unverifiable now as they took place 8 to 10 years ago, not claiming points. Can this affect the background check or security check? Well, if these internships are in your personal history, they need to be validated and verified by IRCC as when they choose to conduct a security check. But if they have closed down, if those businesses are no longer operational, as is a possibility with many businesses which are 10 years old, then you don't have to be worried about it. Don't worry, it's not going to create any issues for you. You can be rest assured about that. I'm from India, just got an ITA. Can I travel for 1 week after I submit file? Will my Indian PCC stay valid? Will I require PCC from other country? You are from India. Your PCC in India is valid for 6 months, regardless of how many times you travel in and out of your country. That PCC will remain valid because India is your country of residence. So therefore, it is valid for 6 months. Even if you're traveling every day out of the country and coming back, even then it remains valid. Only if it was not your country of residence, then it's a different ballgame altogether. For any other country, you need a police clearance. If you are living in that country, residing in that country for 6 months or more in a row. CRS score of 511, started job in March, applied for postgraduate work permit, February got ITA, 2 years experience was added. Can I accept ITA and apply for after 1st of April? Well, if you have received your invitation before you have completed your period of work experience, happens in express entry, right? In the 11th month itself, you will get your points for 1 year. In the 23rd month itself, you will get points for 2 years. Happens. It's a known glitch, and it happens because the system is as per the month here, and it calculates the first of the month for the starting month and first of the month of the ending month as your period of work experience, therefore giving you the points earlier. It's not a problem. You can continue with your application. Just make sure that before you submit your application, by that date, you have already completed that period of legal work for which you are claiming total points. Okay, even if the system has awarded you earlier, that's fine, but you should have completed that period of work on the day or on the day or before the day you submit your application. That is most important. But you can continue with this, not a problem. Speculation cutoff for trades. I honestly don't know. I would love to know what the trades will look like, but I don't. And that is simply because there is no way to know how many people are there in the pool, what kind of scores they are sitting with, what kind of occupation. But I think trades is going to be on the higher side, 450-ish probably, 460 also. So many cooks, right? Too many cooks spoil the broth, as they say, but this broth is definitely looking very tricky. Can I include 2 knock or only 1? Please brief. Well, as your primary knock code, it can only be 1. For any specific single period of work experience, you can have only 1 knock. And of course, you can have multiple knocks in your profile. So for example, 1 year you worked in knock A, 2nd year you worked in knock B, 3rd year you worked in knock C. Can you combine all 3? Yes, you can. Can engineering training use same knock code as engineer asking for electrical engineer knock under STEM category? I have 6 months of experience. Well, I don't remember the knock codes on top of my head and their description and their requirement. So please take a look at the knock code itself. If it specifies that engineers are included or period of engineering or training is included, check if the training or apprentice engineers are included, or check if your job description is included. And if you match with that, then absolutely you can. But if it specifies that you must have a license or certification and you are in the province which requires that, then you might not be eligible if you are performing a job as an engineer. Actually, you shouldn't even be working as an engineer if you don't have the license or certification. Got COPR, have to go out of Canada. If card does not arrive before that, can I come from land border US? I have visa, or do I have to apply for something? You can absolutely travel via land border. So if you have a US visa, you have your COPR, you can come to the US, and then on the land border, you can cross into Canada. It's not a problem at all. It's absolutely legal, absolutely fine. Your COPR is the confirmation that you're a permanent resident in Canada. They might ask you for some additional proof of identity as well, in addition to your passport. So make sure you have your driving license or any other document that establishes that. I'm a casual ECE in 2 centers since 23, but I have been working 30 hours a week. If I add up all the number of hours I have worked from the 2 centers and they give letter stating working hours, and if it adds up to 1560, can I apply for express entry? Well, you can have multiple jobs. That is not a problem. If they are both part-time, you can add those 2. For example, one job is 15 hours, other job is 15 hours. They can be added to be 30 hours. But any hours that you have worked more than 30 in a given week will not count. So you will still count a maximum of 30 hours, and it has to be 30 hours over a period of 12 months, total of 1,560 hours over a period of 12 months, and no week being more than 30. And then you can absolutely claim it as 1 year of experience. Worked as cybersecurity intern, 1 year, 8 months, but had created express entry as software developer. Can I change it to cybersecurity? Well, you can change it, of course, as long as your work experience matches with the knock code that you are changing it to. You can also add a letter of explanation to show why you are making this change. Can there be a PFL? Well, PFL can be there if IRCC has a concern with regards to the genuineness of your work experience. So as long as you are able to explain what your work experience is, that the reason for changing, then you should be fine. Can I apply for postgraduate work permit while my study permit extension is in process? Do I need to wait for approval even if it exceeds 90-day period after graduation? Can you apply for postgraduate work permit while your study permit extension is in process? Yes, you can. However, you cannot start working. You will need to wait until the postgraduate work permit has been approved. Only then you can start working. Satinder says, my postgraduate work permit expires in July and I did not get the full duration of postgraduate work permit due to passport expiring earlier. I found out that you can apply offline and not online. Can you guide, please? I guess you can certainly, IRCC recommends that you should apply for extension offline through paper application. And the reason for that is in the online process, there is no provision for an extension of a postgraduate work permit. That's why you are recommended to apply offline or through paper application. That is the IRCC's recommendation. Several people have applied online using the same process as making a new application for postgraduate work permit, but by adding a very detailed explanation saying why they are applying for extension and how are they eligible for extension. You may choose to do that if you wish to, but IRCC's recommendation is offline paper application. Can our profile say 1 year experience is completed if it is actually getting completed in next 2 months, as we have 60 days after ITA? Yes, you can. There is no problem with that. You can get an ITA sooner, and after you get your ITA, you will still be able to complete your application, provided you complete your period of work experience within the required duration. So within that 60 days of your ITA, if you are able to complete your exact duration of work experience for which you are claiming points, then you can absolutely proceed. You can go ahead, not an issue at all. Oh, we just did this, right? Yeah. Did I miss anything here? Yes. So if you have more than 30 hours, you can't count more than 30 hours. You have to count it as 30 hours. If the hours are less than 30, you can count them as actual. But if the hours are more than 30, you can't count them as more than 30. You have to count them as 30. And when you calculate the total, it should come up to 1,560 over at least 12 months or more. Cybersecurity intern, not cyber specialist, that's fine. As long as your job roles and responsibilities match, then you're good to go. GWP, I don't know what that is. Extension rejected. GWP, without giving the restoration option. However, applied for restoration to visitor, it was still. So I don't know what you mean by GWP. I think you're talking about the open work permit extension application. So if you made an application for extension of open work permit, in the refusal letter, you are not given the restoration option. It's still fine, provided you had applied for your open work permit before your actual work permit expired. If you had applied for that before that, even if it has gotten refused now, you still have 90 days. That is the law that provides you with that option. And you can apply for restoration and a change of status to visitor. If you have done a proper application, there is a good possibility of getting that approved. My work experience in Canada started on the 7th of March till 10th of April. Can I get invitation in CEC this year in March or April? I don't know. Well, if your score is high enough, if the draws continue and your score is in that range, yes, certainly you may get invited. Got ITA. I have one appointment letter, one table format company, but boss, 2 registered, salary paid. I absolutely don't understand. If you are trying to prove your work experience, you need the employment reference letter. The employment reference letter should include your name, your job title, your hours of work, your period of work, and your job description along with the salary. In addition to that, you should provide your pay stubs, you should provide bank statements that show salary credit, and you should provide the income tax returns. But I'm not able to understand what you are saying there. Can't really figure out. I'm working as a support worker. Am I eligible for caregiver program with the same knock code? Well, yes, you are. If you have a job offer as well, job offer is what you need for the home care pilot. Self-employed e-commerce owner with foreign experience, struggling to pick right knock code. disclose director and manager on my study permit. Any suggestions? Well, I can't figure out a knock code over here. Always choose your knock code as per matching job roles and responsibilities. Corporate sales, retail sales, probably those are the line of occupations you can try to take a look at. I got an IT, I was working in family business, no proof, didn't claim points in work experience. If I add in personal history, any proof required? No, you don't need any proof for any period of work that you have included in your personal history. So please, by all means, go ahead and add it there. I mistakenly entered my work permit application number instead of my previous work permit number in my 5710. IRCC captured the correct work permit number in letter they sent. Should I submit a new 5710 via web form? No, don't worry about it. Even if you indicated the wrong number, don't have to be worried about it. You can always raise a web form and let them know if it is really, really worrying you, but don't worry too much about it. And if this is an extension application, it has to be refused anyway, isn't it? Do we need PCC if we left India at the age of 18 years, 18 days and never came back? No, you don't. The requirement of police clearance is if you have lived for 6 months or more in a row after you turned 18 or within the last 10 years. In your case, since you left India at the age of 18 years and 18 days, you don't need a PCC. Anand Chatterjee says, it's not that my employers are unverifiable or closed down. It's that my internship took place 10 years ago and I can't prove it. Problematic. No, it is not problematic. It's absolutely fine. Even if it took place 10 years ago, you only need to disclose activities within the last 10 years. Anything beyond the last 10 years, you don't need it. And in this case, it's not a problem at all. You don't need to provide any proof or documentation for this. What to put first name express entry if I have given name? Well, put your given name in the last name field in express entry. Leave the first name field blank. And that's how you will handle your express entry application. ITA LOE should be added along in the same field it is about, like LOE for work experience or work experience field. Well, you can always add a letter of explanation as a cover letter for the section where you're uploading all the documents. It basically keeps everything in place and also more relative in that matter. I did co-op internship in IT for around 8 months in 2022 and then studied for 2 years and got a similar job. Is co-op experience counted in express entry? No, it is not. Co-op work experience in Canada while you had a study permit is not counted at all. If you had a co-op or if you had internship outside Canada, then that, if it was paid and under a valid knock, may count. Because CEC require experience within 3 years, what about 7th of March 2022 till 10th of April 2023? How 3 years are counted? Till which date I will get IT? Okay, so that's what you're asking. Couldn't understand it earlier. Well, the point is, from the last date of your Canadian experience, from the last date, you still have 2 more years from the last date. So 2 years after that last date, you will still have 1 year of work experience within the 3-year period. So whatever is your last date of your Canadian work experience, add 2 years to that. That is your cutoff. After that date, you will no longer be CEC. That's how you go about calculating this. I applied study permit extension along with spouse work permit extension and still under processing. Can I apply postgraduate work permit now? And what will be the status of my spouse after I apply for postgraduate work permit? Well, your spouse will continue to have the status that your spouse has. And if you applied for the work permit extension for your spouse along with your study permit extension, then your spouse will continue to be on an implied status until the decision is made on their work permit extension. And if they get the work permit extension, then they will have the work permit until that date. When you will apply for postgraduate work permit, and if you're eligible, then they can also apply for a work permit based on your postgraduate work permit. Wow. Pretty much done for the day. Thank you so much for joining in. Okay, one more question. Sorry, you missed that. I received my ECOPR and listed spouse as unaccompanied. How can I get him an extension on new SOWP as previous is expired? You can't. You absolutely can't. Now there is no provision for your spouse to apply for a spouse open work permit extension. Now, you will apply for spousal sponsorship. Once you apply for spousal sponsorship and when you get an AOR, then you can apply for your spouse's work permit. And before the expiry of his work permit, if you are able to submit the spousal sponsorship, then you can apply for the work permit extension under the current validity. That's basically what you can do. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for joining in. It was great catching up again. We will do this again, of course. And in the meantime, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel and give us a follow, give us a like. And of course, if you are leaving me today, then stay forever hopeful, and I shall see you next time. Take care.